Good afternoon and welcome to News Update. I am Udwakobong Achibong. Christians have been reminded that wisdom is profitable to direct. Therefore, anyone seeking wisdom should ask from God, who gives freely to all men. The General Overseer of Christ Tower Ministry, Reverend Jacob Igebo, made this known during his Sunday sermon. The report.
Reverend Igebo noted that the enemy will always tempt the children of God, but with wisdom from God, they can overcome every challenge. He also emphasized the importance of heeding to the advice from parents, which helps to direct the footsteps of children even to adulthood. He advised the faithful to seek from God the wisdom of Joseph, who received favor from God and man through his wisdom.
What you don't have, ask from God. If you lack wisdom, ask of him. Then if you have wisdom, ask for more. Wisdom is the weapon of war. Wisdom will enable you to reign in the midst of plenty, and you lack not. Wisdom will give you an edge over the plans of your enemy. Power of wisdom. Wisdom you need, and this wisdom will deliver you from the snare of your enemies.
He prayed and prophesied, which brought the service to a close.
Whatever that making you not to be happy, in the name of Jesus, happiness overall. Amen. Happiness overall. Amen. Power overall. Amen.
In Benin, Ifoma Okafor, NTA News.
The spiritual leader of Christ Chosen Church of God International, Senior Apostle David Unwefe, has enjoyed faithful to master the act of prayer, as it is the key that unlocks the door of success. He made this known during his sermon at the Kiosa branch of the church in Benin. Ifoma Okafor has the details.
It was a day of joy for the faithful when the spiritual leader, Senior Apostle Unwefe, paid a walking visit to the Ekiosa branch to dedicate the newly built ultra-modern parsonage made possible by the branch pastor Moses Akbara. Senior Apostle David Unwefe and the members of the church could not hold their joy.
In the name of God the Father, Amen. Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
The faithful were enjoined to remain as one and love one another, as love conquers all things. Meanwhile, the spiritual leader of the church, represented by the Director of Administration, Senior Apostle Pius Igbera, said to lay foundation for a modern church building in Igbohosa branch of the church in Benin. In Benin, Ifoma Okafor, NTA News.
Now, believers in Christ have been advised to always come to God with sincerity of heart and with faith, as God is just and faithful to answer them at all times. This formed the crux of sermon preached by the General Overseer of the Deliverance Holy Mission International, Prophet Sunday Okwere, as the church prepares for 21 days liberation camp prayer and fasting.
With the theme of the Liberation Camp Prayer and Fasting, preparing for God's visitation, Prophet Okwere enjoined believers to strengthen their prayer lives in order to equip themselves against any snare of the devil. For Christian leaders, he admonished them not to forget their roles in the vineyard of God and try always to attract unbelievers to Christ.
Join us at non-denominational prayer gathering to take our battles, your battle, and my battle, and battle in the nation in general, and in a process in particular, to God in prayer. One thing I am yet to see, after 2 years in the pulpit, I've never seen where God is appointed. People always disappoint God.
Prophet Okwere prophesied for God's intervention in all areas of people's lives. Meanwhile, the camp will hold next Tuesday, starting from 6 in the morning. Unveiling of the banner for the program and deliverance prayer administration, led by one of the officiating ministers, brought the service to a close. In Benin, Joy Igbo, NTA News.
We'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned.
Do you live in Aduawa and environs, or you need a conducive and open field in Aduawa for your wedding receptions, birthday parties, annual ceremonies, family or corporate events in a serene and conducive environment that is close to nature? Then look no further. NTA Benin Aduawa is a place for you. NTA Benin Aduawa has a large field for all your events and ceremonies. Also, at NTA Corporate Headquarters TV Road, we have a state-of-the-art fully air-conditioned ultra-modern hall for all kinds of indoor events with a standby generating set, therefore ensuring uninterrupted power supply. We also have NTA Pavilion for all outdoor events at the same venue. Guess what? Our prices are affordable, locations are easily accessible, venues conducive and highly secured. Our outside broadcast van is available 24 hours and can broadcast your events live. And above all, you can air your events on our award-winning program like Events and Style. And any booking on the field or hall gets a bonus of free news coverage. Wow! What are you waiting for? Grab this opportunity and have your celebration in a grand style. For inquiries and bookings, please call NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Vice President Kashim Shettima has returned to Abuja after successfully representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the just concluded 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York. The Vice President had presented Nigeria's national statement at the general debate, as well as engaged in several bilateral meetings and numerous sideline events at the General Assembly. He will proceed to join President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to mark some events put together as part of activities commemorating Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed Mr. Joseph Tebe as the Director General and Global Liaison for the Nigeria-China strategic partnership reached by the two countries during the President's visit in early September. According to the statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, Mr. Tebe is a first-class graduate in civil engineering from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, and also a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. The statement further stated that Tebe is expected to immediately submit strategic action plan to enable Nigeria benefit from the agreements between the two countries in Beijing. He is also expected to lead a day-to-day operations, engage continuously in the Chinese counterpart, and ensure that all deliverables are met and synchronized with the national development goals. Now, the federal government has handed over 64 to 100 and different other capacity compressed national gas buses to the organized labor and student union. Minister of Information and Minister of Information Mohammed Idris, accompanied by other ministers at the handover, says the deployment of the CNG buses in line with the President Tinubu's promise to retool Nigeria economy into a sustainable path of progress. The report.
Promised and delivered. That symbolizes the handover of CNG buses to representatives of Labour and Students' Union. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, reiterates government's commitment to ensure the availability of CNG buses to not only Nigerian workers but to other members of the public. Beyond implementing the policy on transition from fossil fuel to cleaner energy, bringing down cost of transportation and enhancing energy competitiveness are other benefits the minister cited.
Over $175 million of worth of investment has gone into this sector already. We expect to see more of that. Nigerians are expected to go in. More and more Nigerians, technicians especially, are being trained. So it's a whole gamut of arrangement that will benefit all spheres of, all sectors of this country. All Nigerians will be felt. This is beginning from those who need the most, the working class. The working class are going to get this. But beyond that, other Nigerians are also going to be the market people. Everyone, artisans, everybody will now feel this impact.
The promise he made is to intervene on the side of the poor and the most vulnerable in the aftermath of what we all knew were necessary macroeconomic reforms to set the country on the path of economic stability that would allow investment.
Mr. President is leading us to do what is sensible. What you are blessed with, what is cheaper, use it. Any mechanical device, motor, generator, irrigation facility that uses petrol can run on CNG. So this is a sensible transition that is led by Mr. President. We have talked about it for decades, but Mr. President is saying, let's do it.
Representatives of the union expressed satisfaction over various endeavors by government to cushion the plight of Nigerians occasioned by global economic challenges.
This step forward brings us closer to a future where both workers and the planet benefit from such forward-thinking policies, which is commendable.
As a representative of over 40 million Nigerian students, today we are happy that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have kept to his promise.
I want to believe that it's just the takeoff, that clearly we will get more buses.
This is the first in series of such initiatives lined up by government towards the implementation of the policy. In Abuja, Deborah Balagubo, NTN News.
We now take a break. We'll be back shortly. Please stay tuned.
Join us every day on NTA Benin Network Center, Channel 7, VHF. Star Times on Channel 103. You can log on to our social media handles: YouTube, NTA Benin, Facebook, NTA Benin, Twitter, NTA Benin 1. For breaking news, call our news desk on 091 535 59648. NTA Benin, the award-winning station.
You from the ancient city of bronze, the cradle of black civilization.
Many thanks for staying tuned. And now to sport. Athletes from Edo and other states in the south-south region of the country are dazzling at the 138th National Amateur Boxing and Mixed Martial Art Championships in Edo. Elizabeth Omoko tells us more.
The talented fighters from Bayelsa State, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River States, Edo and Delta States jostle for sports. They demonstrate their prowess in 9 intense final bouts. The aim is to identify the best athletes from each state and zone across Nigeria and provide them with the exposure needed to represent Nigeria in international tournaments.
Give us some more championship so that we too can able to go up, become someone like Adesanya, Usman Kameru, and Francis Ngannou. That is where I'm going up to, because I have the courage. I'm still going to enter UFC.
I'm glad that I'm getting up to this stage now and getting higher now.
I wanted to see if the thing is inside me really actually. So I think it's a little bit in me. So the fight is actually nice because it's been long I receive and give.
The judges and the referees are doing well. And so far so good. My 4 fighters that have fought, they all won their fights.
Those young athletes that you see today have the chance to take their career from grassroots to amateur, leading to professional, where they can change their lives and the lives of their families.
First person that has qualified to the final is Caro, the Edo guy. We have varieties of people in the final and it's still ongoing. But right after now, we'll be having the boxing, the amateur boxing, and we have about 9 fights in different weight classes.
The grand finale, expected to crown the first set of national amateur champions in the country, is expected to be held later in the year. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
And still talking sport, 2-time world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is at a crossroad after his humbling defeat at the hands of a fellow Briton, Daniel Dubois, at Wembley. The 34-year-old was demolished in a powerful display by a man 7 years his junior. The question now is not why, but how he lost.
Anthony Joshua arrived at Wembley after 4 consecutive victories, including an impressive knockout win over Francis Ngannou in March. But he was dominated by IBF heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois, who has lost 2 of his 24 fights. After being knocked down in the first round, Joshua hit the canvas several times more, including twice in the 3rd, before the fight ended in the 5th. But what went wrong? Did Joshua lose his footing? Or was it a clever fix?
There was a few mistakes in there, but that's the name of the game. Fine margins can cost you at the top level.
Despite losing to the 27-year-old and suffering the 4th defeat of his professional career, Joshua walked away from Wembley Stadium with a bigger purse. According to Sporty Salaries, Joshua was guaranteed to earn £6 million, but he could pocket as much as £25 million, depending on pay-per-view sales. Dubois, on the other hand, is expected to earn at least £3.5 million, potentially rising to £10 million, depending on the success of the pay-per-view buys.
People believe that he was trying to do a business game with all his fights, losing one, winning again, hoping on a rematch. You don't need that at this time. You need to leave a good legacy and a good name for yourself.
What we saw of him in that fight against Daniel Dubois shows one thing, and one thing very, very importantly, that it does look like Anthony Joshua has lost some sort of motivation. Some people say that since he's lost to Andy Ruiz, he's not been able to get himself back to aggressive and vicious state that he had been before now.
It was a fourth career defeat for Anthony Joshua, following losses to Alexandra Usyk in 2021 and 2022, and underdog Andy Ruiz Jr. in 2019. So, with a long-awaited domestic blockbuster against Tyson Fury looking further away than ever, what happens now for one of Britain's greatest ever heavyweight fighters? For Sports Update, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
And that's it on News Update. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.